You have a fear of change. You have a fear of being unrelatable to the people around you. And this is why you play small. This is why you hold yourself back. Welcome to the Mindset, Magic, and Manifestation podcast hosted by me, Michaela J. Get ready to dive into an action-packed, bougie-based, and spiritually guided experience on all things manifesting your next level Lux life. Let's go. Hi, gorgeous. Welcome back to the Mindset, Magic, and Manifestation podcast with your girl. It is I, the Michaela J, here to teach you how to manifest your next level Lux life. Happy Wednesday. Welcome back to the podcast. Today, we are talking about why you are playing small, why you are holding yourself back, and what to fucking do about it. Okay? Because we are at this point in my year personally where I am now creating my second 12-week year. So at the end of November into December, I read the book, The 12-Week Year, which I really, really loved. And I think I've talked about it before in past episodes. Basically, the ideology of this book is that instead of creating a game plan for a full year, which you can't even accurately plan because you have no idea what's going to come up in 9 months from now, right? You create your year based off of 12 weeks at a time, because they did some studies that show you can only accurately plan your time about 4 months out. Anything further than that, it's not going to end up being accurate. And what happens to most people with their New Year's goals, right? They set a goal for the whole year and then they fall off after a while. There's no check-in, there's no game plan. You lose that excitement, that motivation, and things just dwindle down. With the 12-week year, they have optimized it to be a positioning of your goals that is within a time frame you can control and you can accurately plan out for the most part. And then you have this new year, new me energy 4 times a year instead of just once. But you also have the same end of the year kind of pressure, like good pressure of like, let's get this shit done. I've got a goal to accomplish, because you have the new energy and the excitement, and then the end goal is in 3 months. It's not like 12 months away. So it's got the excitement to take action, but it's also got the light pressure to execute over and over and over again. I set up my 12-week year for the beginning of December. So the last week of February, last week was the last week of my first year. And now I'm in this energy of, okay, year 2, here we fucking go. Where have I been playing it small? Where can we go bigger? Where can we evolve some things? Where can we shift some things? I told you guys last week when I was in Turks and Caicos, I had so much time to think. Time to think about the things I want to shift. Time thinking about where people are keeping themselves stuck. Time to think about how I want to help you move through any stuck energy, any blocks that you're experiencing. And one thing that I've been thinking about is where we're playing it small. So I want to talk about today why we play it small and where that is coming from, because it's always something under the surface with me. So it's never a surface level thing with me. And we're going to game plan how you can feel more comfortable going bigger. Okay. But before we dive in, I have to let you know, if you are not inside of the Wealthy and Worthy Wellness Club, literally, what are you doing? Okay. This is my money mindset membership. It is a 1-year commitment to working together. We have the most amazing community. These girls are literally celebrating wins every fucking day, and it's crazy. Inside of the Wealthy and Worthy Wellness Club, I am teaching you how to turn your self-worth into your net worth. Because if you don't feel worthy of money, if you don't feel worthy of creating this massive freedom-based lifestyle where you're achieving huge goals, traveling the world, taking your friends on trips with you, flying your parents places, when you're presenting, having people come to your events, like whatever it is for you, if you don't feel worthy of that, if you don't feel like you can have that, if you don't feel comfortable with those big changes, then you're going to block your manifestations every step of the way. And so inside of the club, we really bite that in the butt and we get you to a place where you feel worthy, you feel certain, and you feel consistent So that money, it just ends up being this inevitable thing. Money is just this thing that's constantly coming in basically overnight because that's now your new standard, okay? In March, we have a challenge going on right now called Money March inside of the membership, where every single day I am dropping a money manifestation task for you so you can be manifesting like cold hard cash this month. I can't wait to add up how much everybody's manifested at the end of the month. I think that's going to be just so fun. And so if you're not in there, get your booty inside, girl. Okay. To get started, it's $111 a month. Okay. 111, jumping into alignment right away. Or of course you can pay for the year in full and get some other little bonuses from that. But it is really the place to be right now. Okay. But let's get into this episode. Let's talk about why you're holding yourself back, why you're playing small right now. One thing I have been pondering with this, especially because I hear from my clients a lot. I do a lot of Q&As inside of my programs, and I'm just aware of what's going on in people's mindsets, is that you are not actually afraid of failure. When you think about these big manifestations you have, whether it is buying your dream car, your dream home, the love of your life, having your dream body, having a business that makes $1 million, climbing up the corporate ladder, being a boss bitch, like flying private jet, whatever it is, it's not that you think you can't have it. Number one, you know you can have it. You know what you can create with your life. And it's not that you're afraid of failing, because you're also at a place in your mindset journey where you're like, well, I know everything happens for a reason. I know everything works out some way or another. It might not always be what I want it to look like, but you know it's going to work out for you, right? So any idea of failure, it's really not failure to you. It's redirection. It's lessons, right? We're above the basic bitch mindset shifts, right? What's actually going on under the surface is that you have a fear of outgrowing people. You have a fear of change. You have a fear of being unrelatable to the people around you. And this is why you play small. This is why you hold yourself back. And what I mean by playing small is that you set goals for sure, but you don't set the goals you actually want to be going after. You don't go for the gold. You're like, silver, bronze is going to be great. Love a third place, but you want first. And you think, if I get to first place, I'm going to outgrow all these people in my life. I'm not going to be able to relate to anybody. You already feel like the black sheep. So you're like, if I'm the black sheep and I'm crushing it, and I'm doing it in a way that no one can comprehend, like I'm going to be so unrelatable. And like if I go for that first place, if I go for that gold, I'm going to get it. Like I'm actually going to make it happen. You know that if you committed to what you know you need to be doing, and I know you know what you need to be doing right now, right? If you committed and you felt certain and you did the mindset work to be in that certainty energy, right? You shifted the blind spots that are holding you back. If you went there, if you started playing big, you know you would get there. And that also kind of scares the shit out of you. Because if you go there, like, then what? It's literally venturing into the unknown. And if you're already uncomfortable with the idea of change, oh my God, the unknown is like worst case scenario. Like, because now your brain has no idea how to navigate anything. You don't know what to expect. Our brain is always on like the defense mode. It's like pre-planning our wins and our disasters. And so the thought of winning and succeeding and getting there, what's next? You have no idea. And that scares the shit out of you. So when I say that you hold yourself back, is you go for the bronze, you go for the third place, you go for a 2x type of goal, because you're like, I can hit that and feel comfortable with that success. I can hit that and still be relatable, right? That's like saying I can manifest 10K months in my business and still relate to my friends who are working in corporate making like $6,000 a month, right? It's not like we're balling. It's not like we're making $1 million. So I'm still relatable. I'm still budgeting. I'm not flying first class yet, but maybe we're staying in a nicer hotel. Like I'm still relatable. If you go for the bronze, you go for the third place. I'm not outgrowing people. I'm doing better and this is cool and I'm growing and it's working, but I'm not outshining people. I'm not outgrowing people. It feels safe. It's really a comfort zone. It's a safety box for you to be in, because you know if you went big, if you went 10x, if you blew it out of the water, you would get there and you would be unrelatable. You know those TikToks and reels online that are like that unemployed friend on a Tuesday and they're like on a first class flight to fucking Dubai and they're like on a camel like within 3 hours of landing. I love seeing those videos because I'm like, that's literally me. Like, actually, it's so unrelatable. And that also kind of scares you because a lot of your relationships have been built on relatability. Next level friendships aren't necessarily built on relatability. They're built on mutual support. A lot of my friends can't relate to my lifestyle. A lot of my friends can't relate to when I get the travel bug and I'm like, oh, I think I'm going to go here for 2 days. And they're like, oh my God, that's so fun. But they're supportive, mutual support, not relatability. And when we have this fear of outgrowing people and not being relatable, again, it's because you created friendships based off of the lower vibration things you could relate over. Like being a broke college student is how a lot of people complain. And then you're like, oh, let's go to Walmart and buy ramen noodles together. Like, haha, we're so broke. Like, that's one thing people bond over. Or a mutual disliking of a friend. Like, I had that in high school. Like, me and this girl bonded over somebody else that we hated, right? So it's like, we had that relatable thing in common. Or it's a coworker. Let's say that you're growing your content and you're about to go full-time in your business because you know if you actually committed, your Instagram would grow and your business would boom and you would get to quit your job. Well, what about your bestie at work? Now you've outgrown the workplace and now your job and your life is unrelatable. So is that friendship going to slip away? These fears, these unknowns are what is going on in your subconscious that convinces you to reel it back in a little bit, to play a little bit smaller, to go after goals, but don't go after the really big goals. And you're not afraid of failing. You're not afraid that you can't have it. You know you can have it. Failure is whatever. It's just redirection. It's just you learning a lesson from the universe. Thanks, universe. Learned it. Let's keep going. You know that you can get there. It's what comes after. It's navigating that unknown you've never been in before. And really, it's outgrowing your current environment. That change can be really scary. That change can be like, oh my God, well, who are my friends going to be? And like, what's my day-to-day structure going to be? And who am I going to be? And what if I become a version of myself I don't like? And okay, well, if this succeeds, well, then I'm going to worry of how I can keep the ball rolling, right? We immediately go into these future fears in our head because your brain is always premeditating what's going on. And you let the future fears also reel you back in. That's why you're playing it small. I know you can go bigger this year. I know you can expand those manifestations. I know you can take the 2x goals and make them 10x. I know you can be a bigger version of yourself. I know you can be more consistent than what you're being right now. And you're so wrapped up in the future fears and these unknowns and no man's land that you won't let yourself go. And it takes a really bold person to go there. It takes a true leader to go there. And not only leader in like team leader, line leader, leader in your company, team lead on the floor. Like, it doesn't have to actually be that, but like, you need to be in your like self-leading position. You need to have this internal leadership of like, I'm going to do this. Like, this doesn't make sense. I have no idea where this is going to go, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to take it there because I know it's going to work. And when it works, I know I can take it to the next level because I know I'm going to figure out how to navigate these things. And I know that when I'm no longer relatable to my friendships, I'm still going to be best friends with these amazing human beings because we have mutual support. We have mutual love for each other. And I don't need people to understand because I lead myself because I do things most people don't do. I'm never relatable. Because right now you're not relatable. The fact that you work on your mindset, the fact that you have big goals, the fact that you're tapped into energy, that you're more spiritual, that maybe you carry around some crystals, right? The fact that you are manifesting this amazing life that's beyond what you've probably seen in your day-to-day, you're already not relatable, but you think you are. So I want you to just own that. Be unrelatable as fuck. Rewrite that story for yourself because it's holding you back. Let's take, for example, your fitness. Like if you went all in on your fitness, you know it would work. And you would just like have this unrelatable reality. And people would be like, oh, you're so lucky. Like, it's so hard for me to lose weight. Or like, you're so lucky. Like, I just don't have time to work out like that. And they're all excuses. Imagine if you fully committed to 10xing, to going for the gold, going for the first place with your health and fitness, fully committed to 8 hours of sleep, fully committed to eating nutrient dense food that gives you energy, protein dense meals. You fully committed to getting massages every single month and taking care of yourself. You fully committed to moving daily, getting daily workouts. You fully committed to taking a Magic Mind shot every single day. Like, you know, your energy would be next level. You know, the amount of things you could get done in a day would skyrocket. You know, your body would change, your mind would change, your heart would change, your energy would change, your brain function would change. Okay. But that idea of it working then scares the shit out of us. And we start to get stressed out thinking of all the future details. So one thing that I love sharing on the podcast that really, really helps me deal with this, that has helped me eliminate stress, that helps me actually act out these things that I'm committing to, that gives me the energy to do it, is taking a Magic Mind shot every single day. Magic Mind is a mental performance elixir shot. It's a cute little matcha shot. I'm obsessed. It's got ashwagandha. It's got the good little mushrooms in there. It's literally formulated so that you have proper brain function, so you have enough energy, so you decrease the stress in your life, and so that you can stay focused for longer. It's really difficult at times, or challenging. I don't like to use like the word hard or difficult, but it can be really challenging at times to overcome these blocks where you're saying like, I've been playing it small. I'm holding back. I'm scared of letting people go. I'm scared of outgrowing people. I'm scared of this. I'm scared. You're battling all of that while dealing with your normal day-to-day, while also taking action on your goals. Your energy can feel so stretched thin. Okay. And so it's really important that we have the proper nutrients to make sure our brain is functioning properly. For me, the way I do that is I take a Magic Mind shot every morning. It's so easy. It's got everything I need. And I stay energized, you guys, until like 8 fucking PM. I take a shot with my coffee in the morning and I'm good to go. I've told you in past episodes, like, I don't feel stressed out anymore. This is one of my secret hacks for that. And you know that if you committed to fully showing up for your health routine and your mental health routine, that it would work. Our friends at Magic Mind love the podcast, of course, duh. And so they have a special discount for you guys. You can get a discount on the subscription or a one-time discount on a one-time order through my link, www.magicmind.com/mindsetmagic. And you can also use the code mindsetmagic. The link for that is in the show notes. If you committed to taking your Magic Mind every day, to fully showing up for yourself in terms of your health and your fitness, making sure you have the proper sleep, the proper hydration, the proper recovery, again, you know it's going to work. So why aren't we doing it? It's the fear of it working. It's the fear of being unrelatable, because maybe that's something that you and your friends have been working on. You guys go to the gym together and you're like, we got to get in shape, like hot girl summer. I feel fat today, whatever. And you bond over that experience. I really want you to tap into your unrelatable as fuck era. Okay. And part of this is that you're not better than the other people, okay? When I'm talking about being unrelatable, it's not because I'm on this high horse and I'm better than you and I'm better than all these normies, right? Like, we're different than the normal people, than quote normal society people. You're already unrelatable by being the kind of person you are, because you are awake to the fact that you have control over your reality. Most people think that there are coincidences. Most people think that cards are just dealt to them and their life just sucks and they're at a disadvantage. You know you have power over your life. You know that you create your reality. You know the quality of your life directly correlates to the quality of your mindset. Like, you know all of that. Okay. It doesn't make us better. It just makes us awake. It just makes us unrelatable. So when we're working through some of these fears and thought patterns of like, I'm going to outgrow people, I'm going to be unrelatable, it's going to work, and then what's going to happen? It's not because you're better than anybody. It's because you're just willing to move with a certainty of I'm going to figure it out at every level. And I know this is going to work. And I want to see how far I can fucking take that. Most people aren't courageous enough to look themselves in the mirror and say, let's see how far we can take this. They're too scared. And again, you're not better than them. You're just moving with certainty. You're setting the example. You're setting the standard. Imagine how people would expand in your world, in your, I always say hemisphere, in your friend group, in your family, based off of seeing how you take control over your life. I hear this all the time from my friends and family. In fact, one of my best friends, Kara, who lives in New York, she was at my live podcast show in New York City. So some of you got to meet her, which was so fun. And she, at my podcast live event, was taking notes. And she told me in a FaceTime later that she journaled about what I said after that and was figuring out the topic I had talked about, how she was navigating that in her own life. If I was too afraid to be fully myself, if I was too afraid to be unrelatable, and let me just tell you like a little bit about Kara. She grew up like very Christian. She went to 2 different Christian colleges, like definitely took the more religious route, and I'm very spiritual, but we have been best friends since the fucking 7th grade. Okay. And so it's like, if I had dimmed myself down and not talked about these things or not felt comfortable fully being myself because like, oh, she's religious and I'm spiritual, like we would have never had those takeaways. She would have never had those journal prompts. If I was afraid to like look weird, look different, be unrelatable, like think that, oh, my way is better and more free than your way. Like if I had thought any of that and held myself back and played it small, she wouldn't have had those takeaways. If I hadn't started my spiritual journey when I did, I don't know when Caleb would have started his, because we always talk about this trip to France that we went on together, hot mess trip, and it totally sparked his spiritual awakening. I talk with my husband about this all the time. He's always like, you're so driven and you're so on top of it. And you're always crushing your goals. You're always on to the next thing. He's like, I just feed off that energy. I love that. You're so motivating. Like it's so hot. And I'm like, I know, right? So when you decide, I'm done playing it small, I'm done watering it down, I'm bucking over holding back, I'm going to be unrelatable. I'm going to be different. I'm going to outgrow people, but I'm also going to inspire people to grow with me. You will outgrow some people, but you will grow up other people. You will outgrow some and grow up the others. And the ones that want to grow up with you, the ones that want to up level with you are going to be your ride or dies your entire life. And those are the people who truly want to see you win, because those are the people who have decided to be done with their victimhood mode and they want better for themselves. And they see you doing it, so they know it's possible. So where we can get into the zone of making your success inevitable and breaking out of this cycle of playing it small is deciding to be the leader, deciding to be the main character, deciding to be that one person, the one who does it, deciding to lead the fucking masses and lead yourself, and remind yourself, I can be unrelatable and still lovable. I can be unrelatable and keep all of my friendships, all of them, because you don't need to relate to them to have mutual respect, mutual love, and mutual support. I can grow so far in my goals, in my fitness, in all these areas, and I might outgrow some people, but what if everybody grew up with me? What if I set that standard? What if I set the example of what's possible if you just take 1% more ownership of your life? So yeah, there's a chance I'll outgrow people, but if I lose people, they didn't want to see me win anyways. And I don't want those people in my corner. I want with people that are going to grow up with me. And I don't need to be afraid of success. I don't need to be afraid that it's going to work, because I know it's going to work. And let's just like tap into that mindset. I don't need to be afraid if it's going to work, because I know it's going to work. So if you know it's going to work, then who do you need to become? Who do you need to become? The version of you where it's already working for her, because the brain is afraid of that unknown zone afterwards, right? So it won't be unknown if you start to create that right now. Where you're like, well, if I make all this money, like, am I going to get greedy? Is it going to change me? Like, is it going to change people around me? Blah, 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 blah. Well, decide right now, how the fuck do you want to be when you have all this money? If you were a millionaire right now, how would you be? How would you act? What would you do with the money? What would your daily schedule be? How would you feel? Start feeling that now. Start creating that reality right now, and you won't have anything to worry about because you've already put it into motion. And that can ease your mind about the future manifestation. And honestly, it will snap in the manifestation even faster. So when we are tapping into this vibration of I'm breaking free, I'm no longer holding back, it's about rewriting the actual fears that are going on. It's not that you think you can't do it. It's not the fear of failure. It's going to work and then I don't know what's going to happen. Great. Well, let's just start creating that right now and then I know what's going to happen. And also, one more thing on that. If you're like, well, it's going to work and then what? Well, then decide your next goal. I was afraid of that for a long time with my fitness journey of like, okay, well, I'm going to get my dream body and then what? Like, I'm going to be so bored. Now I have my dream body. What do I do now? And instead of having that mindset, a long time ago, I shifted it. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to achieve my dream body. And then once I get there, I want to do a TRX handstand push-up. And then once I get there, I want to be able to do pull-ups. And then when I get there, I want to be able to do the splits and work on flexibility. Like, you make goals in other ways. So think about if this is a worry on your mind of like, well, after then what? Well, create the then what goals. Create the 10X goals and then create the 20X goals. Take it there, okay? You get to rewrite these stories. When you start to own the idea of like, well, I'm already unrelatable, you take the power back from that. You're no longer afraid of that. Reminding yourself the right people are going to grow with you is going to help you take back your confidence in going big. Because the last thing I want to remind you of here is that holding back, playing as a smaller version of yourself doesn't serve anybody and it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to feel like a small half-ass version of yourself. It doesn't feel good to hold back when you have big things on your heart, big things on your mind. Like, that doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel right to you. And when you can go big, like if you feel that in you, and I know you do, like you feel it in your heart is where I feel it, where I've always felt it. It's like, I know in my heart, I'm meant to do this big thing. I know in my heart, I'm meant to take this further, right? You feel that in your heart, then that's what you're meant to do. You're meant to be the one who paves that path. And yeah, it's going to be fucking scary because most likely nobody has done that before you. Okay. But you know it's going to work. And so instead of feeding into the fear, what if you spent that same energy feeding into your certainty, feeding into your decision, feeding into your confidence, and moving forward with that certainty? It's going to absolutely change the game for you because you're not serving anybody by playing it small, and you're definitely not serving yourself by holding back. Okay. If you want to go deeper in this work with me and have my coaching to help pull apart some of these fears of being unrelatable, some of the fears of outgrowing people, the fears of the unknown, the fears of change, and you want me to walk with you to coach you through and shift and rewire these mindsets, then I suggest you join us inside of the membership, the Wealthy and Worthy Wellness Club. Again, that's where your self-worth creates your net worth. And so we're going to build up your identity to be like so worthy, so juicy, so on top of it, so out there that nothing can hold you back anymore. And when you don't hold back and when nothing can hold you back, money doesn't hold back anymore. That's the work that we do inside of the club. The link to join us there is in the show notes. I hope you got something juicy from this episode. And don't forget, we have a free Facebook group that goes with the podcast, okay? It's called Mindset, Magic, and Manifestation. The link for the community is in the show notes. So if you had a big aha moment, a big takeaway, a big breakthrough in this episode, I would love if you posted in the Facebook group and shared with me what that breakthrough was. I can't wait to hear from you. I can't wait to see you inside of the club, see you inside of the Facebook group. Don't forget to snag your magic mind, of course, to keep optimizing your brain function and reduce your stress when you are going to be popping off and navigating these new levels. And I will talk to you next week. Bye. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to leave a 5-star rate and review. I love hearing your takeaways and wins from the podcast in the review section, so don't forget. Love you so much. Talk to you soon. Bye.